Hi, welcome to Joy Fido International. My name is Joy Fido and I'm going to be talking to you about something absolutely necessary, something amazing, something useful. You know what we stand for here, especially with Joy Fido International. We're talking about hair, we're talking about beauty, we're talking about fashion, we're talking about wellness, and your health is very important to you. So today's topic is going to be centering on your health. So welcome on board. So why do we come to you with all this information? The reason is because we love to share knowledge. We love to share information. We love to share skills. And something that has always put me in that position where when a great idea comes to my head, I can't keep it to myself. It's a book that I've talked about all the time, and it says purpose-driven life. And one of the biggest things I read from that book, which I happen to have a copy here, Purpose-Driven Life, and it says, what on earth am I here for? One of the biggest things I took from that book was the fact that when an idea comes to you, is nature actually giving you something to share with the world? And for me, that was a huge thing. It was a huge turnaround. This is why whenever I have an idea, whenever I have something that I know is going to be valuable and useful to people, I don't keep it to myself. Because I know nature put that idea in my head or in my understanding, and it wants me to share with the rest of the world. And so today, I'm going to be sharing amazing things that have come to my understanding that I'm not meant to keep to myself. I'm meant to share it. And that's why I'm here today, sharing as always. So our topic today is your health is in your hands. That's what the topic is. Your health is in your hands. And I would rather love to call it, let's talk life. Let's talk about life. Now, I come to you most times with personal development talks, and I'm trying to help you mentally to start looking at life in different ways and look at things you could do to support yourself and be strong enough for yourself. But health is different from just mental health. Health, we're talking physical health. We're talking about those things that put you in that position to be strong enough physically to be able to deal with your everyday activities. And that's why the topic is about you being in control of your health. Your health is in your hands. So we've said let's talk life first. Now it's very important that we understand how we can help ourselves to have a healthy life. And what came to my attention only a few days ago, I bought this equipment. It's called the NutriBullet, which I will show you later. But yesterday I took my time to read the book that came with it. And the book is right here. Something that's really interesting. It says leading causes of death in the US. And when they're talking about just the US, I tend to find out this cuts across the world. It's not just only in the US. It says heart disease is one of the biggest causes of death, followed by cancer, followed by chronic lower respiratory disease, then stroke, then accidents, then Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, influenza, pneumonia, kidney disease. Now, these are all different types of things that are causing unnecessary deaths, deaths that could have been prevented but have not been prevented. And so you hear people dying all the time. Oh, what happened? She had a stroke. What happened? She had cancer. She had heart disease, heart failure, all kinds of things going on. And when I see things like this, I get really bothered. And I'll be coming to explain more because there's more on the way. But this is what is also very interesting from the first bits I read. It said over the past few decades, America has become the most overfed yet undernourished nation in the world. When we feel sick, we go straight to the doctor's office looking for a quick fix to relieve whatever it is. And we think we are well again because you're given a tablet, you drink it and you think, oh yes, I'm fine. We get pills for feeling dizzy, pills for feeling sad, pills for high blood pressure, pills for high cholesterol, indigestion, you name it. Everything that we suffer from, we'll go to the doctor, we'll get pills. Has that given us more life? Our life expectancies are reducing, as are those of our children, who are expected to live 10 years less than we are. And most of us are dying from a small handful of the same avoidable diseases. Now, this is really scary story. So that was just a little snippet from this book called NutriBullet, Natural Healing Foods. Why am I so interested in these things? I'm gonna go into my life, a little bit about my health history. Because if you've been watching this channel, you know I don't just talk. By the time I'm talking to you, by the time I'm standing in front of you to tell you things, I must have experienced something. I must have been through something. And whatever these things are is what's actually motivating me or inspiring me to come out and tell you what's going on. Now, my personal health history, my dad died from stroke. He fell ill for nearly 2 years. He was unable to do anything. He'd become, you know, what today people call vegetable. You're no longer there. You're gone. For 2 years, the family had to run around. He never came out of it. My most senior brother also died from high blood pressure. He struggled with it. We've done all we could as a family, going to the doctors, in and out, and it just didn't help. Eventually, he went. All these are at early ages. I never got to see my grandparents, and now my parents left really early. So this has really been a part of me that I am so concerned about what are these things that actually rob us of our loved ones. What are these things that's making life so easy to disappear? I mean, you know a soul, you know someone. You've got to love this person, and suddenly this person leaves you. It's traumatic, and lots of people don't recover from it. And so it's something that's really transported me into searching and researching, because it bothers me. I have children, and I don't want them to grow up not knowing me, or my children's children come and then they never meet their own grandmother. And so these issues stay on my mind constantly, and I look at ways to help. So I keep researching, and whenever I pick up a topic, I don't stop until I find a solution. That's the kind of person I am. For me, it's all about questions, and then I seek answers. And in this part of searching for health, I have bought every book you can think of. One of the really good ones that did something for me, that touched me, was this pH Miracle. And again, it was one of my students who mentioned this to me, and I bought it and I started reading. And then you can now start hearing all the other ones I've read. You are what you eat. Detox for life. Foods that harm, foods that heal. Slim and healthy without dieting. Vitamins and minerals. The new healing herbs. The big book of juices. Medicinal plants. Ultimate fast food. Sugar busters. The new high protein diet. And this was one of the really good ones I love so much. It said the secret of life and youth. So that just gives you a little insight of how curious I've been to understand what gives you healthy life. So still on my health story, when I had my third daughter, I was diagnosed with pregnancy diabetes. And I have never been so scared in my life, you know, being checked, you know, send your blood off, and next thing, a phone call, oh yeah, come in for discussion. What was responsible for that? I was curious. Oh well, I've been eating lots of carbohydrates and it's broken down in the system, it's created more sugar, you name all the technical bits, I don't know about them. But then I had to be put on a plan, and I had to avoid eating certain foods, and I had to start eating certain foods, and I had to go out for walks occasionally, pregnant as I was, and I just could not understand what was going on. And so all these health issues push you to the point where you start asking questions, and that's what it did for me. So I have niggling background information. My dad dies from this, my brother died from that, and family members are suffering from this and that. Could this be genetic? Could this be something that I can help, that this is it, I'm going to die soon and I will not get to enjoy my children or get to be with them? And so I start reading and getting more and more information. And then I've talked about this a lot more, but after I had the baby, luckily while I was pregnant, I followed the plan and I never had any medical issues at that time. And so it was like, after the baby, you will come back again, we'll do another test, and we'll be sure that you're fine, which I did, and I was absolutely fine. And ever since then, touch wood, as the Englishman would say, I haven't had to go to a doctor for any medical issues again. Why? Because then I became more and more curious, and I became more and more aware of what I should be doing to help myself. Hence, we're saying your health is in your hands. Because then, immediately after the baby, I got involved with Herbalife. Then it was then all about losing weight. And so I got on the programs and I lost a lot of weight. And I felt really good and I was happy. But then what was the problem with Herbalife? The expensive was just too much. And then what were you eating? And I felt a bit unhealthy. I may have lost weight in the sense of you lose weight and you feel good, but I wasn't really deep inside me feeling good about myself. And so the search continued. I still want to know what I need to do to be healthy, to cut out all the different illnesses without putting my health at risk. And as well as being happy enough from inside, being strong enough to face the world, and being strong enough to deal with life. And that's why the search has always continued. And so is all this accumulation of information and knowledge based on personal and a lot more that's going to be coming your way. Okay, so the other motivating factors or inspirational factors making me look more at health came from my clients. So over the years, I work with hair clients, work with your hair, support you on your hair, care for your hair, advise you on your hair. And then I'm getting to meet more and more people who over the years have lost so much hair. And everybody is so concerned about their hair, and they get so stressed out and get so angry and so upset. And all of these are not helping because it's coming back into the whole circle. You're stressed out, it affects your cells, and then you lose more hair. And so that made me start looking more. What could be causing these problems? I mean, we know there's the physical effects of someone actually pulling your hair too much, which is where we say traction alopecia. But what could be leading to things like female pattern hair loss, or things like male pattern baldness, which we know is a condition, and so many more? What causes people to lose hair? And then I got to understand that what's happening is starting from the inside, not just on the outside. Because lots of people look at hair from the outside. And so I started looking more and more into what are the things causing these problems. And I came up with answers and answers, to the point now where I have to keep consulting with people and supporting them and guiding them from how to recover your hair. So it's not just so much me working on your hair, but how to help you take that hair from inside to come out. And then it's growing further than that. I'm having students that are coming and I'm training them to run a business. to run their own thing, to live their own life. This is a skill. Take it with you. Go and set up, build your business, start your thing. What's happening? People are losing health again. I had a call the other day and this was really distressing. This lady, yes, would love to learn all the skills, would love to get on with the business, but because she's spending hours on her feet, it's affecting her legs, it's affecting her hands. And so what could she do? And it's coming right back to your health again. So health is a major part of our life, and we have to look at different ways of understanding our health and taking care of our health. And that's what this video is all about today. Why is your health so important? This is very, very necessary that you understand why we're talking about this. You cannot do anything without your health, period. That's how simple it is. If you don't have a healthy body that's willing to get up with you whenever you feel like getting up and getting something done, then you're not going to be able to do anything. I've talked about how we need the spirit to push the physical, and we need the physical to support the spirit. The spirit is what's inside us, that inner desire, that willingness to do something. And you find that lots of people, they may within themselves, in their head, in their mind, are willing and ready to get up and do something, but are not physically able to get up and do it. So both of them walk hand in hand, which there's so many more that support each other. But on the point of physical and mental, you need your physical body to get up to do something. And if you are so ill and unable to get up, you can mentally think all you like how amazing this thing you would have done would have been, but your body is not willing to get up and support you. That is where it ends. And that's why it is so important to have a healthy body. Your job or your business is at risk without your physical body. So you have to get up and go to work every day. You have to run around, you have to do this, and you have to be mentally ready and aware of what you're doing. If a part of it is missing, everything collapses. And that's why you have to be completely in charge and in control of your whole being. Your beauty depends on your health. I mean, lots of us here sit back and we watch the celebrities and we watch the models and we imagine how beautiful they look. Oh, and they're gorgeous and they're amazing. But if you get to know the amount of effort they put in to keep themselves in that state, where they could stand on that stage and sing songs to millions and thousands, and all you have to do is stand there and be clapping your hands and getting excited, you will not believe the amount of effort they put in. Because they have to do a lot of physical effort to be in that place where they are, that you can look at them, and then you get all the paparazzi and you get all the people who like to give their opinion and judge. Look at her leg is not straight. Look at her tummy is too far. Look at her head is too, her hair, you know, all kinds of things they start judging and criticizing. But it's a lot of work to keep the body in that state that you are beautiful enough for people to look at and say, oh wow, she's gorgeous. So all of these different things, your wealth depends on your health. And you've heard people say your health is your wealth. Because if you are not healthy enough, and you think you own millions and billions, they come to nothing if you are not there to coordinate all the effort that's been put in. Your hair care and your hair growth is something I mentioned already. We get people come here all the time. My hair is breaking, my hair is not growing, my hair is, which is one of the reasons that pushed me into understanding health a lot more. You cannot have healthy hair if you are not healthy. And I've read books and books that says you are as healthy as your hair is. So the first thing you look at yourself, if you want to see how healthy you are, is your hair. And for very good reasons, which I've explained in a few other videos, your body does not see your hair as important. Your body takes care of the other internal organs, your liver, your kidney, your heart. You name everything internal, the body wants to take care of it first, before it comes around feeding those cells that actually help your hair grow. So if you're so keen on growing your hair, You want to take care of your health first. Your weight is dependent on your health. And there was a book I just mentioned earlier when I was looking at the books that says be healthy without dieting. That's one of the ways I want to see health. Because you see, lots of us, or lose weight without dieting, lots of us think the solution, which was my story about Herbalife, the solution is to pop the pills. The solution is to drink, they say to you, drink this milkshake twice a day, which is what I did with Herbalife. The solution is just take only this kind of foods, or take that kind of food, and then you lose weight, and then you think that's healthy. No, what happens with most of these weight loss and weight management programs is they basically strip you of those sometimes necessary things. I mean, I read something really weird about one of the programs that supposedly help people to lose weight. And people found out that this same website takes the information of all these people who are buying their programs and sending their details to all the people who are actually manufacturing things that are unhealthy. So they're sending their information to, for instance, chocolate factories and chocolate manufacturers and things that are so unhealthy, and these same people are sending adverts to these people who are supposedly trying to lose weight. Now it comes to mind power when it comes to foods. We'll get to that. And so you're trying to lose weight, you are on a program, and you're seeing adverts about this chocolate being so tasty, so delicious, so this, so that. What then happens? You're tempted and you start eating them again. And then you go back to buying more of this program. For them, it's all a scheme to make money out of you. And so being healthy does not necessarily mean getting on all these weight loss programs. It's nothing to do with programs. It's about you eating healthy. And we're going to start looking at all those healthy issues. But you need to know that your weight will get to a necessary size once you start eating healthy. And you don't have to worry about spending thousands and thousands of pounds or dollars to go on a program in order for you to be healthy. And your skin depends on your health. So lots of people worry about their skin. My skin is not healthy, it's dull, it's not looking good, it's what's going inside that comes out to give you the results you're getting. And all the medical issues we talked about, remember I read out some of them, which I'll still read out some of them to you. So you see here things like cancer, you hear diabetes, you hear all the major big illnesses out there are coming from the kind of things that goes into your system. And that's why we really think it's important that you look at your health and you take control of it. So sicknesses and diseases, there's so many of them out there. I mean, we understand sometimes that some of the sicknesses people suffer from are genetic. You were born with something and, doctors have tried their best. Now, not all this. I have nothing absolutely against doctors or medicine. I love medicine. My dad was a medical man. He was a medical doctor. But the issues I have is you can help yourself before you get to the point of going to the doctor. And if you have deliberately ignored things that you need to do, and then you think your solution, your answer is with a doctor, then you have not helped yourself. And so there are so many illnesses out there that are so dependent on you ignoring the things you should have done. You need to look into these things and see how you can help yourself. Because when this topic came into my view, my understanding, and I kept trying my best to, ignore it. I really don't want to talk about it. A voice kept reminding me, you could be saying something to someone that could help save their life. So why are you sitting on this information? So there may be someone out there, you may be going through certain things that you are not aware that you are actually the one responsible for it. You don't need to blame no doctors. Because people who know me know how much effort I put in to watch what goes into my mouth. We're going to talk about this. But it is so important that you take care of yourself. Some of these illnesses which really are heartbreaking. You hear people there in the hospital, and from one hospital visit, more hospital visits, and from more hospital visits, the person is gone. It could have been prevented. This sickness, most sicknesses like cancer, like high blood pressure, like diabetes, liver disease, kidney disease, Alzheimer's, dementia. I know some of them, start from old age, like dementia and Alzheimer's. But there are some things you could do to help cut down the speed with which they come. And these are some of the things we're going to be looking at this program. I have a Facebook page I've created to focus on our health and our life. And I call it Eat for Life. Go in there and you see some of the things I'm going to be putting up constantly. We need to know what's going into our system. Most of these sicknesses, you can avoid them. I mean, it just hurts to know that so many people are there, intellectual people, people who could have contributed so much to this world, people who could have helped us in so many different ways, just go from something that they could have helped. You know how much, if you've been watching this program or our channel, how much I adore Madam Walker, Madam C.J. Walker. And it hurt so much when I was reading the book and got to know that she died at 52. 52. That's like beginning of her life. And what could have been done to help those kind of situations? This is why I am so concerned about health. Because in as much as none of us have any control about our life, like that book, Purpose Driven Life, it's not down to us. But there's still so much more that we can do. And that's why when I look at some sicknesses, it just hurts. It just hurts to know that there are things this person could have done to avoid this situation. And that's what this program is bringing to your notice. Okay, so like I said, early deaths and losing loved ones really, really hurt. And whichever way we can help ourselves, we want to see our children. We want to see our great-grandchildren. And we also want our children to see us. We don't want them to grow up without knowing their mothers like I did, or grow up without meeting their great-grandparents like I did. So if we are aware of things right now, apart from accidents which we cannot help, or natural disasters which are beyond our understanding, or maybe occasionally wars, which again is man-made, other things like what goes into our system that leads to sicknesses are things that we can help to avoid. And like I read earlier when we started, overfeeding, just eating too much food, does not necessarily mean overnourished. And so there's a big thing called nourishment. This is an area that I am so keen on. Now, I was chatting with my clients the other day, we were chatting about food. And I said the biggest thing for me, how I have been able to deal with food issues. Before I put it into my mouth, I mentally take on something. How is this nourishing my life? How is this nourishing my body? What is this item of food bringing into my body? So that's one thing I would like to leave with you. Make it a mental effort from this day forward that whenever you are putting food into your mouth, you have to ask yourself, why am I putting this there? What is it going to do for me? Because it's important that we deal with things we've mentioned. You don't want to deliberately take that physical responsibility of not helping your life to grow as far as it should have gone. And so you have done things that's not going to help you, help your loved ones, help your family, help your friends, help your life. Hence we're saying eat for life. So each time you put in something in your mouth, remind yourself, what is this going to do for me? And keep reminding yourself, overfeeding does not mean overnourished. And so we're going to be dealing with how do we nourish that body so we don't get to deal with those medical issues we just mentioned. So remember what we said, we want you to eat for life. We want you to eat because you're going to live longer. That's the whole idea. How do we help? How do we achieve that? Now we're going to look at foods. It starts with the food. What do we put into our body? And when we're looking at food, is that food that we put in nourishing? Is it going to help our body? So we're going to categorize food into two groups. So the first group is the natural foods. And in the US, you call it the whole foods. The healthy foods. For me, I like to call it going back to nature. Nature is when you plant a seed, it grows up. That's nature. There's no other thing that was done to make that seed grow up apart from the soil. And then we're going to look at the other type of food, which is the processed food. So these are the two types of food we're looking at. The healthy natural foods, raw natural foods, or the processed foods. Now these two categories mean something to us. So then we're going to also look at, why do we eat? Why? Why is it necessary to put food into our system? We put food in there because we lack energy. Because the body, the fuel that actually makes the body work is energy. And so just like you pour petrol into the car and then the car moves, the body needs food for it to move, to have that energy to move. But if we're putting that food in there for energy, how much of that food do we need to put into our body for the body to be able to get up and do what it needs to do? And what kinds of foods do we need to put in there for it to have the energy it needs to work? So those are the kinds of questions that I've been asking and asking and asking. And that's why I've been researching and looking at so many different books that I'll mention to you that has helped me to have a clearer image. So when we're looking at healthy foods, nourished foods, natural foods, how do they work in our body? We put it in, for instance. How is it working? How is it converted to energy that we're able to do what we need to do? And so what goes on is, the human body is able to break down those foods that are natural. It will break it down, do its bit. The small intestine, the large intestine, the whole digestive system, the food comes in, goes to do what it needs to do because it's been broken down. Now, processed foods. Processed foods are foods that have been converted by man. So you get someone take bits of nature and add some other synthetic things to it, and then they create something new. So in our program, Eat for Life, we're going to be looking at all the different types of food that are there. And I'm going to be bringing images of physical images of physical things. This food, that food, why is that food necessary? Why is this one not necessary? So you're going to be seeing so much more and getting a better understanding of the things that will help you grow the kind of life you're looking for. So the processed foods are anything that has not been made by nature. Anything that's out there, you have walked into the shop, you cannot tell the source how that food was made. That is processed. So processed food and natural foods. Natural foods, we've talked about it, planted, grown from the soil. You will know them when you see them. You will know a banana when you see a banana. You know an apple when you see an apple. You know beetroot, you know ginger, you know lemon. There are things you know, you can't mix them up. And so that's them. They're just what they are. And then there's processed foods. And so they mix up this and they mix up that and they put that synthetic here and they put that, and then they create things, and then it tastes amazing, it tastes sweet, it looks beautiful. Some person has stood somewhere and mixed up something to create something. That's what processed food is. And that's the kind of understanding I want you to take on. So when you go to the shop from this day going forward, now differentiate them. Do I know this food? Has someone mixed up this and that to create this one? and then which one is going to help my body. So I've been doing a lot of research. There's a program I watched. It came on TV here in the UK, but then it's actually on YouTube. And this man, Australian man, is called Sick, Fat and Nearly Dead. Sick, Fat and Nearly Dead. Look it up on YouTube. This was someone who was suffering from every medical condition you could think of. The amount of pills he had to take to survive, to wake up in the morning, he was completely lost. He was big, he was slow, he was weak. He had to take buckets of pills, a table full of them. This will help do this, and then this will counteract that one. Then when you take this one, you're going to feel this way, so you take this other one to stop this one. So it just carried on. And I know there are so many people out there with same situation. That's why the little voice said to me, go out there and say these things, because you don't know the number of lives you're going to save. I want you to live for life. I want you to eat for life. So this man kept popping all these pills until he had had enough. His life was not getting any better. He was suffering. And he decided his research, just like I've done, and started understanding that there was a big problem. There was a big difference between processed foods and natural foods. And he chose to go natural. He chose to tell nature, talk to me. He chose to decide for himself. If I am nature, then the solution is in nature. And that's one of the things I believe in. You cannot be nature and find solution in synthetics. You cannot be nature and go elsewhere to find an answer. This is how simple I find these things. The human body is nature. You've read the Bible where it says dust to dust. That's nature. We're coming from, if you look at the biblical sense, Christianity, we're coming from dust. And so we're going to end back in dust. But for the body to be able to take care of itself, it has to be something from nature, from dust. And that's why when you look at natural foods, the human body can't break them down and allow the body to create its own energy that works with you. And that was what this man did. Back to nature. So he went back, got himself a juicer, and started juicing everything that he put into his body. He recovered. He completely recovered, but of course he added exercise to it. So there was exercise and there was the juicing. And he recovered and did not need one more pill again in his life. Go and watch that program. Sick, Fat and Nearly Dead. That's what it's called. Another thing that really guides me again is when I travel, because I travel a lot. I like going to different countries to see things for myself. We just came back from a trip to the Netherlands. And we went from shop to shop buying things, you know, daily things. And I can tell a country that I feel comfortable in. When I see a country that's so in tune with nature, I feel at home. Why? Because when you go into the shop to buy food, you find that the things from nature are cheaper than the processed and manufactured foods. Anytime you get to a country and you find the food is cheaper, natural foods are cheaper, that is a healthy country. That is a country where people are not dying from these uncountable names of sicknesses. Why? Because the ordinary man can afford the healthy food. Because they have not turned manufactured food to become the exciting thing. I come from Nigeria, and I know that where I come from, we still go to the farm and we still plant these foods and we eat them. But you see, what the Western world made us believe was the processed food are the healthier foods. And they glamorize it, and they bring all these beautiful images to stand by a bar of chocolate, to stand by a packet of biscuits, a packet of cake. And they make you think that you're missing so much because you're not eating that cake, you're not eating that biscuit. It's actually the other way around. Because I've read in so many places that because you cannot put an IP, you cannot say this is my intellectual property on banana. And so you cannot really go out there and glamorize banana. Look at this banana. It's going to give you so much energy and iron. And so they go around and they mess around with things, and then they take a hint of banana and add other things and say, this is what this is going to give you. You are better off eating nature. And that's a big message that's coming out from today. Eat nature for as long as it's not been messed around. That is what your body needs. And this is what is going to help you recover that body. We went to China and I experienced the same thing. The processed foods were so expensive and the natural foods were a lot cheaper. But here in the UK, it's a different ballgame. Processed foods are not there. You can't find them. And so these are the things that should guide you. So we're still looking at foods and processed food and natural foods. So I want you to start looking into what you put into your body from this day going forward, and I've said it over and over. Now, this is another angle to what we're talking about. You see, when we're younger, our energy level is so high. We can put anything into a system and we can break it down so quickly because our digestive system is still alert, still at work, doing all it needs to do. And so you watch your children, they may eat as much and then they burn it out in no time. And most times you say, oh yeah, that's fine, because they're growing up. Yes, they're growing up. And then they grow up to a certain age, from the age of 18 for girls and sometimes for boys about 21. And then things start going down, slowing down. Why? Because the digestive system is beginning to slow down as well. And so you're going to find the more food you pack into your system, the less effort you're going to gain from your body trying to break that food down. It does not have that strength to break it down. And I remember when I was doing my hairdressing course, and my teacher said, you're better off just drinking water. Between the sugary drinks and the water, which is best? Water is best because the body just knows water. The body cannot handle that processed drink called whatever, Coke, Pepsi, Fanta, you name them. They've added so much sugar in them, and so the body struggles to break all the sugar down in order to put them in different sections of the body. And so as we grow older, then you find the nature finds the solution. It starts storing those foods. For us women, it goes into our hips, it goes into our arms, and for the men, it goes into their tummy. Of course, for us women as well, we get the big tummy. So this just starts to increase. You know, big hips, tummy growing, arms growing, ill health following, less activity, and it just piles up. And so start looking at the things that your body can break down. Start helping yourself to say, what do I need to put into my body that my body can deal with? And the older you get, the more difficult this is. And that book I read to you earlier, which was about, it said weight loss solution for women over 40. The older you are, the more difficult it is to break down the unnecessary foods we have put inside. And that's why when we struggle to lose weight, we don't find the solutions, because our digestive system cannot handle the amount of food that we are putting. And some of the deeper things you're going to get to understand as we go along is, over the years we've been eating so much junk, so much nonsense into our system. They go and line the intestinal walls, they block it. And then much later you say, okay, I want to go healthy. Then you start eating supposedly healthy food. What happens? Because the walls have been lined with all the nonsense foods we've been eating, there's no access for the food, the new food, the healthier food to go in. And so it just carries on. And it gets worse sometimes when you try to eat and you can't pass it out. And so the body again is not dealing with, let me throw this food out immediately. No, it just looks for ways to deposit them inside you. And you find some people who say to you, I barely use the toilet. And you're asking yourself, think about it. If you keep putting something into a bag and nothing is coming out, what do you think is going to happen? One day it will burst. And that's what happens to us. When we put so much food that's not really running out of our system, something is not right. And they might call it constipation, and sometimes we just drink whatever we can to push it and force it out. So many things are going on inside the body. So how can we help you in the situation you're experiencing with weight and health and life, living longer? We've been researching, and all the books I've shown you, I take time and I read through these things, and I always, when I say to you research, I'm asking questions. And I love asking questions. I say to people, I don't have problems. Because see, when you say problems, it becomes something that sounds horrible. It doesn't sound good, and so you feel bad inside yourself. Oh, I have a problem. I don't have a problem. I have questions. Everything that comes to my view, I question it. I want to know why this thing is the way it is. And once there's a question, what's the next thing that comes is an answer. And so the answer comes from above. The answer comes with a tiny little voice telling me something. That's nature speaking to me. And that's why whenever I have these questions and the answer comes, next thing is I have to share it. And this is my way of sharing it. And so, with all the questions I've been asking about health, I've taken you through my personal history, taking you through my children's history. My children, I'm making my business to feel them healthy. It may not be that every food they eat is healthy, but when they're ill, I have my solutions. I run to nature, which we've done a few videos on that. We've done the garlic video. We've done the, what other video we did on health? Ginger video. And I've done a few videos talking to you about health. Whenever these things happen, I run to nature and I find an answer. And that's the same way I want for you. That's why I'm sharing this with you. So some of the questions I've asked, which is, so what are the solutions to cut out some of this unnecessarily, mind-blowing diseases that's really leading to this, people departing this earth so quickly, people leaving their loved ones so quickly? Nature, we found, is the answer. And like we said, only nature can deal with nature, and that's why our human body can break down natural foods. What are some of the things I found out? Two major things. Juicing. Juicing is when you take raw foods from nature and you take it through a machine. You might say, yeah, a machine is made by man, but we deal with machine all the time. One of the biggest things nature and human beings did to help us was creating the car. And so we move from end to end with a car. We could have been walking if we were stuck with nature. There's another one, the aeroplane. We can actually travel from one part of the world to another part of the world because we got onto the aeroplane. That's man-made. And so there's always something exciting from man. But when it comes to going into the body, man is not your answer. Nature is your answer. And so there's a machine that helps you to juice the food. Juice that food that you may not necessarily be able to deal with. Now there's so many juicers out there, and I'll show you one of the ones that I have gone buying. This one's called the Jessenville's Fusion Juicer. I'm not into any particular brand, like I always say on this program. Whenever I suggest things to you, it's just something I am using. It does not necessarily mean that's the answer. This is the NutriBullet, the one I read the book telling you about the statistics that's going on in health. Now what's going to be happening is from time to time I'm going to be bringing recipes, and I'll give you reasons why I have chosen those recipes. Now, you can see from the table, from the things I've shown you, that there's so many books out there that tend to talk about health. But what you're going to have to keep remembering is, this is somebody's idea about how they see this issue. And so my idea about how I see health is what I'm going to be bringing to you when I start giving you recipes. And so the juicer is there, and the NutriBullet. NutriBullet is all about creating the smoothies. Now you're going to find there's a difference between smoothie and juicing. The human body breaks down the food, yes? Now the reason we're looking at juicing, for instance, is if you find you're in that state of health where you need solution quickly, you just want this thing to work for you, then juicing is your solution. Why? Because what juicing does, it takes the liquid out of the leaf, out of the vegetable, out of whatever it is that you're trying to juice, and it brings them out in liquid form. It takes away all the fiber, and the liquid form, when you drink it, goes straight into your bloodstreams. So that's the big difference with the juicers. Straight in your bloodstreams, what then happens? The body starts to use it. Remember, we talked about energy. The body will use that liquid immediately. It goes into the cells, and you're beginning to recover. Now, smoothie is like blending. When you have a blender at home, and so think of your blender similar to the juice, the smoothie maker. What it does is you get this natural, whatever it is. It could be apple, it could be banana, it could be beetroot, it could be kale, it could be you name whatever vegetable comes to your mind, whatever fruits come to your mind, whatever nuts come to your mind, whatever spices come to your mind. You put them into the smoothie maker and you blend it. What it does is all the roughages, the fibers that are in these foods are still in that equipment that you blended. Everything is blended together, and so what it does, just like the name says, it smoothes it. It makes it smooth. And so the time you spend in chewing and breaking down that food that you put in your mouth then goes into your intestine for it to break down while it's there and then circulate it to the body, all that process has been simplified by the smoothie maker. So by the time you're putting the food in, the body is willing. It's at the point where the body can immediately turn the food into use. So you see the two, you see the aspects of these machines and what they do. While the smoothie maker keeps the fiber in, which your body still needs, because if there's no fiber, what's going to happen is there'll be nothing coming out of your system in the form of using the toilet. So we still need the body to do its job. And that's why the smoothie maker gives you that. But if you want a quick action, immediate result, I want to see my body respond to me, quickly do the things I'm looking for, then the juicer is necessary. So these are the two major things I wanted you to see today. And then I'm going to gradually, as we go along on this route and on this program, give you things, give you recipes that will help you. Okay, so remember, I don't pretend to be what I'm not. I'm not a medical doctor, but I am chatting with you based on my experiences of my health issues that's happened over the years. And from my family background, the things I have experienced, and based on all the things I have gone through, I have done my reading. And that's where I get my information from. And you can tell from the number of books I read that I don't stop reading and researching. And what I tend to do is I take information from this, and I accumulate all of them to add to the knowledge I have and the experiences I have. And that's why I'm coming to you with all this information to help you look into what's happening to your life. So the two major things we're going to be focusing on in this program, Eat for Life, we'll be picking on the recipes that's going to help you. Now, what I would like to hear from you, if you are with me on this, is experiences that you're having. Anything that you're having that's given you cause for concern, makes you want to wonder, you're wondering, what should I do? What's my solution? How do I help myself? Feel free to email me, joy@worldofbraiding.com. We'll also look at little hints of exercises. I may not be the one standing here showing you exercises. I may suggest books to you. I may suggest programs to you. I may suggest places for you to go and see. When it comes to exercises, I love exercises, but I'm not an expert on that. It's not one of those things I like doing. People register with gyms. People take long walks, which is one of my favorite. I love the walking. Every evening when I can, I take one of my kids and we just walk for miles and miles. It helps to keep the heart rate going, because once you don't do any activity and the heart rate just sits there, do nothing, whatever little thing you then do, it affects it. And that's why people insist you must exercise your body so the heart keeps beating. If it keeps beating, it's doing its job. And so you will need long walks whenever you can. You will need exercises, other forms. If you want to join the gym, you're welcome to do them. You can ride bikes if you have access to that. You can go swimming if you can do that. So exercises with healthy foods or natural foods, broken down quicker for you in the form of smoothie or in the form of juicing, will help make your life keep it longer, sustain it for longer. It will help you eat for life. And so there's so many experts in these areas, but I'm going to come to you with my own personal understanding of what's going on, because I believe that we can have longer, healthier, happier lives. And that's what we're here for. So follow me on Instagram, Joy Fido, or if you love the training side, World of Braiding. Follow us on Facebook. I've created a page for it, Eat for Life. Again, you can be my friend first as Joy Fido on Facebook, and then you can follow me. I'm going to be doing quite a bit of blogs on this topic because it really needs a lot of writing. We normally write a blog from worldofbraiding.wordpress.com, and email us, joy@worldofbraiding.com, and we'll be more than happy to guide you on this. Because in as much as I want to empower you with skills that help you grow financially, I also want you to grow first, physically, healthily, live longer, and then you can grow other things in addition to that. So it's been nice chatting with you again today, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Thank you.